Excuse me, I'd like to get in here and get some granola.
Granola? Excuse me. Nuts.
Excuse me.
What?
What exactly is it that you do here?
Oh, I guess better games?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I steal all the nuts and I drink all your pop.
Security. We've been introducing you to folks all over Gaspard Games, but I don't think we formally introduced Ashley, who's the front desk and helps with facilities and all that sort of stuff. So, hi Ashley.
Well, hello there, Chris.
Say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
She's already said too much.
I'm sorry.
Sleep.
Like they should ignore the group. Like if he was to ignore the group. Oh no.
You made a really great check-in on Melee Combat.
I may have stuff actually next week. We'll see, because we're going to do a Melee review, and we'll get some design feedback on Melee, and we'll see where it's going to go.
Okay. There you go. Now that is the unedited. Making games is a very slow and complex process, and what folks that are watching the video blog are learning is that it takes weeks and weeks and months to see the smallest things happen that we just don't, you know, whatever, Rome wasn't built in a day kind of thing. We're doing our best, but we don't want to bore people. At the same time, there's stretches that can seem very, very boring. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay, so
I know you talked about it last week a little bit, but
it's nice if I could draw on a board. The sources are circles, so you have multiple circles all around the map. You have a target right here. Flow field will build out, and it has an integration. Think of it like a wave. When you touch water, like a wave goes out in the water, the wall goes like this, so the wave has to travel all the way around. Well, that takes a long time on a large map. Well, what I'm doing is I'm building a graph on top of this.
a hierarchical connected graph. Say that 50 times, standing on your head while eating peanut butter and fighting ninjas.
You know, let's say you have a source down here. You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say your goal's right here. Versus here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you haven't even, you know, you haven't really gotten to. Let's say your goal's over here. You know, you can see where there's less work to figure out a good path to go across an entire map.
What are you up to?
I am sizing the collision boxes and the selection boxes for these units we have so far.
I think we figured out where they are.
You guys annoyed by me?
Hi. Right now?
Yeah.
Or like...
The word on the street is, you got a lot of chairs in your office. You must hold a lot of meetings here. So the word on the street is you're the producer. You're actually the senior producer.
Yes.
You produce Supreme Commander 2.
Yep.
And you really have to wrangle everyone. Herding cats. I've heard it called herding cats.
It is like herding cats.
Huh. I don't think anyone's herded cats before, so how would they know? Were you a big Magnum PI fan? So senior producer. So basically you're responsible for everything to do with time, money, and quality.
Yes.
Great game, on time, on budget.
Basically, on any given day, I can have everybody super happy with me, or I can have everybody hate me.
Mike, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll leave you alone now. Onward, upward. The Dream Crusher.
Oh god, so he's filming this.
It's my lunch.
Block number 27. For the win.
Indeed!
The team is doing a playtest. We do this every day at 11 o'clock, and we get as many as 8 people playing the game. So let's just kind of walk around and take a peek at what they're doing. He's got some farms going, and he's got a...
Building an expansion area.
He's building an expansion base. It's quite an army you've got there in that, at that pinch point. I see you've got some walls. This is a first look that I think folks have seen. And again, these are not final walls. They're, and what are you doing? Are you mopping up with your king there? Oh, sorry again. All screaming aside. What's Brian doing here?
Building towers in a second castle, and yeah, I think we're sort of at a freezing point though.
We're frozen. It's a synchronous multiplayer model, which means if code is added that doesn't obey the very strict protocol of a synchronous lockstep engine, you get a desync. It usually means that the game just stops playing. So I'm off to Gamescom in Cologne, Germany next week, and so Jeff and I are busy running around shooting 2 video blogs today. The content's a little skinny. We'd rather put up a skinny blog than a no blog at all. Let's do some cracked out mailbag. Welcome to another exciting episode of Cracked Out Mailbag. Will there be navies in Kings and Castles? You're darn rights. One person asked, how big are the maps? Really huge maps. Elijah is working on a pathfinding solution to work well on really huge maps. Terrain play an important part in Kings and Castles. In other words, will units fighting downhill have an advantage of units fighting uphill? Will archers perched atop a hill have better range and do more damage? We are definitely trying to bring terrain into the game in a much bigger way. Pinch points, the bridges over the chasms. I really like what we call emergent behavior, and this comes out of a simulation. Very, very hard to get emergent behavior out of a rock, paper, scissors setup. But more on that in the months ahead. And we've got a ways to go. So some things will become more clear as we leave pre-production and get into full production. Yeah, look at this email that someone sent in. They even sent me a picture of a formation here. Here's somebody who says, I really like the new resource system introduced in SupCom 2. It was nice to have that instant gratification, but they liked the old system. And this is the kind of feedback we love right here. Liking the new one, but liking the older one more. You know, that's very, very diplomatic. So could the queen ride a dragon, a smaller dragon perhaps? We want to have them be able to come off their mounts, dismount, I guess, and really offer a lot of variety in gameplay where you can fight on foot. Of course, you'll lose a speed advantage. That's another exciting episode of Cracked Out Mailbag. We need a lot of teleportation.
Or like what she was doing with the...
Ow!
He's bulletproof.
Like I told my last wife, I said, honey, I never drive faster than I can see, and besides that, it's all in the reflexes. What's that from?
It's my lunch.
Blog number 28.
I've got a copy here of Pitfall, the original Pitfall in 2600. But all this stuff here, I never throw, this is the thing about me. I never throw anything away. 8-bit. Classic. Now, speaking of old systems, actually, check this out. But one of the original Game Boys. I don't know how many of you have kept your original Game Boys. This is pretty neat. When all of civilization is destroyed, I'm gonna crack those babies out, and it'll be a party. But DX 9, 10, 11, 12, what do you think?
15 maybe.
DirectX 15?
It's a good number.
Yeah, I think so.
Why don't we ask the fans? All right, everybody, you need to write Chris, and you need to tell him what DirectX version should we use as our base version for the game, like the minimum spec.
What do you think? What would you like to see? Tell us. DX 9, 10, 11, 12, 57. 57 is kind of an odd number. Do we have any cracked out mailbag on this one? You're darn right. We've got a really interesting question here. Someone says, how much waste do you generally have in pre-production? Things that don't make it into the final game or things that change so radically. The reason we do pre-production
is to prevent against waste in production. But what about the idea that we set the maximum number of units based on the number of people in the game? So if you have more people in the game, you have less units, and if you have only a 1v1 game, you could have a whole lot more units. I think this is a really cool idea, so I think we should give it a try. They ask, are the graphics that we've seen representative of the final product? Graphics you see all throughout this video blog are very much work in progress, gray box graphics, because you do get into that really complicated case where beautiful graphics are important, and if someone sees something ugly, they think the game is going to be ugly. But you will see over the next year how these graphics evolve, especially as we get into production. Since this is new and experimental territory, doing this blog, we kind of have to keep reminding folks, because we do get email where people ask, is that it? I kind of go, oh, no, it's not it. Somebody wants a fast play mode. That's interesting. Like where maybe things like the economy is at double or triple. That's a really interesting idea. I like ideas like that. That's another exciting episode of Cracked Out Mailbag. Hey Mike, could you just pop me over to the nut machine?
I just made some tweaks to the code. I'm not sure if it's really safe to do.
Hey, what could possibly go wrong?
Oh my God, they killed Jessica. You bastards. Damn it. And we're low on nuts.
Hey, what could possibly go wrong?
All right.
It's my lunch.
If we're gonna talk, we need to turn the lights on. Lights. Let's go look at some stuff. Holt, what you've got on the screen looks kind of different. It looks like kind of pretty colored rainbow thingies. What does that mean?
Well, that's how I see the tiling for the textures. Right, so we'll make custom stuff that fits in between it, and then you can make tiles for the stuff that matters for play. The walls, the ramps, and the flat area, but then the stuff that goes in between it will be handcrafted.
That's great. That's great. Cool. Thanks, man.
I'm doing a quick concept of the heavy knight right now. It's nothing polished, but just to get an idea what he will look like.
And again, the exaggerated features so that it has a nice profile and it reads really well from gameplay distance. You a big Magnum PI fan?
I think it's beyond my time.
Hey, we're here with Brian. Brian was just looking over. This is what Brian's working on. He's got text on his screen. Brian, what are you doing?
I've asked the team to give us lots of legendary unit ideas, and they've given us lots of great ones, and we're putting together a compilation to discuss as a design team.
So what is a legendary unit?
It is not only one of the largest units we'll have on the playfield, but also will deliver powerful attacks and have an ability that will turn the tide of battle.
Right, kind of a game ender.
They're game enders, and sometimes they're also end game starters.
Does each monarch, as we're calling them now, have their own legendaries?
Several, in fact.
I feel like the guy on that Extreme Home Makeover, where he's asking questions he knows the answers to.
Yeah.
We got the Paladin, the Huntress, the Dark Wizard, the Warrior, and the Gadgeteer. Nice.
Oh, I'm revealing more that I shouldn't reveal yet.
What did you just reveal? Welcome to another exciting episode of Cracked Out Mailbag. Okay, we got a question here on magic and mages. Could you expand on your plans? For example, will individual mage units have individual spells? A mage can be on autocast, and which means when you go into battle, they can all be doing what they do, whether that's healing or casting some sort of a fireball, or you have special higher level spells that are one-offs that the player has to cast. An example of that is the bridge building spell. Someone writes in and wonders if we're going to have taunts in Kings and Castles, and I'll tell you what, taunts is a great idea. And yes, we've had them in the past. It's great to get feedback like this so we can see that folks are really interested. If you really like taunts, let us know. Someone says, 3 questions. Will we see the Black Knight? Is there a split story like Soupcom? Will there be weather conditions and hazards as tornadoes? What is up with the chickens? Will this be on Cracked Out Mailbag? Well, David, I got some news for you. You are on Cracked Out Mailbag. I don't necessarily think we're gonna have a Black Knight, but we're gonna have lots of knights. Split story, well, I can't spoil that now, can I? Maybe, but I've never been a fan. I've never been a fan of random stuff in a strategy game. Okay, I don't like random because random means that you could lose and it wasn't your fault. Chickens are beautiful. Chickens mean so much more to me than Queen Christine Taylor's Queens and Villas. Ha! Get a shot of this. She's holding a chicken and she's got, what is that out there? Oh, nuts. Oh, that is great. I could look at that all day. So that's another exciting episode of Cracked Out Mailbag.
I like it here.
Do you?
Yeah. Get to fight off ninjas.
Yeah?
That sort of thing.
Ninjas on the lawn?
Oh, yeah.
We're here on the video blog now. I know you recently entered the Witness Protection Program.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and how does it feel?
It's good. It's good.
You've got all the units lined up here. This is because perhaps you're looking at size and scale relationships?
Yep. Just checking out how all the different units read at different heights where you've got zoomed into a formation. Yes, I can tell what they are, but you also need to worry about it sort of back away at the army level. And that's what we're doing right here.
Again, a lot of these are gray box units. I see we've got a catapult and a trebuchet. Let me get this straight. You came up with a concept for the dynamic zoom and you're pulled all the way out. And then Jeff, the guy who's shooting this very blog, is the one who mocked it up.
Yes.
So why don't we go over there and see what Jeff's...
should do that.
Jeff's
do a paradox thing where he's filming himself well.
Yeah, let's do it. I think it'll be great. In some sort of bizarre twist of editing trickery, let's go see what Jeff's got on his screen. Well, here I am at Jeff's desk. This is where Jeff sits. This is where he does all the video blog work and, of course, a lot of the movies and Supreme Commander 2. And he's going to show us his map thing, so I want to teleport him right into my spot.
Oh,
there we go. Nice.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, Jeff, show us what you got.
Okay. Well, currently I did a render of a king for a cinematic
That's pretty
test.
cool.
Did some shader work on it.
Nice.
I'm sure you guys have all met my sister Jessica. She's shooting me right now while Chris is off Chrising around. Well, basically what I did in brief was I took a concept from as our art lead and turned it into an After Effects project file demonstrating a concept he had for a parchment overlay treatment to the strategic zoom. So instead of it just being a grid, you have a parchment treatment, sort of a shader treatment done to the game to make it look like it was drawn with ink. Kind of cool. God, my hand looks like crap.
Okay. You ruined my moment.
Oh, just sorry.
Hey, that's my lunch. That's my lunch.
It's my lunch.
And we're low on nuts.